Thank you so much for coming out today. I want to welcome everybody to the East Training Center. If you've never been here before, this is the galactic headquarters of where East happens. And in this room alone, we will train over 2,000 students this year in anything and everything you can think of. My name is Matt Dozier. I'm the president and the chief executive for the East Initiative. I would very much like to thank you for coming out. That way it's not just the East staff that wandered over. I want to recognize a few people in the room. Obviously you'll meet Mr. Saban, Mr. Gordon from the Innovation Hub. The things that East and the Hub are going to do and are doing will reshape this state. Ms. Coy, Ms. Kite, our great East facilitators who brought the real show. We have students from Robinson Middle School, and we have students from North Little Rock 9th grade campus, high school. Okay, she changes about every 3 weeks. But we've got students from both of those schools here today to not only celebrate with us, but to give you something to really take home as exciting. I would like to recognize Commissioner Wood. Thank you so much for coming out. Mr. Wood only takes care of education for the whole state of Arkansas, and we are so very grateful that he believes in the work that you are doing. Mr. Moody, I saw you in the room. There. Mr. Moody, he sits on our board. He's an East Board member. Ms. Bradford is both a member of the Department of Education and the East Board. I see Mr. Gadan, who is with the Downtown Argenta. Mr. Decker, the assistant, or he's got some fancy title, but I'm not sure. He's in research and technology. So I want to thank you for coming out. Things like what we're talking about today are the reason that Arkansas is moving forward. We're here to celebrate the ongoing support that AT&T has been providing to East and now the Hub for so very long. Melinda was one of the very first friends that I made when I got to East. In working with her and with Mr. Dedman and Mr. Drilling and Ms. Fouracre and all those great people at AT&T, they understand how very, very valuable work that East is doing to help raise up the next generation of technologists, the next generation of innovators, all of those things that are going to not only be necessary, but are going to help us move forward. And we are so very, very thankful that they have taken yet another step to support that work. Because what we're going to do with the Hub is not only going to affect Little Rock, it's not only going to affect North Little Rock, it's going to ripple out across this state. And it will be a beacon for the region and for the nation in how to do something that a lot of people know how to do the pieces of, but nobody's trying to do it the way that we're trying to do it in whole. Specifically, we're here to thank them for a very generous contribution that is going to solidify and make sure that we can do the work that we need to do. To tell you more about the Hub, I want to introduce their Executive Director, Representative Warwick Saban.
Thank you.
Representative Saban.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting us here, and I want to begin by saying what a pleasure and what an honor it is to work with Matt, with Angela, and the entire staff of the East Initiative. You all do such incredible work statewide and in several other states around the country. It's a model program for STEM education in this country. We're honored to have it in Arkansas, and you were with us from the beginning, so we really appreciate it. And so thank you for this partnership. And I'd also like to just quickly echo Matt's remarks in terms of acknowledging the presence of Commissioner Wood and Mr. Decker and our board members, John Gadan, David Moody, Todd Larson, I see in the back. Of course, it's a pleasure to work with Ronnie Dedman and Melinda Fauble at AT&T, and we really appreciate your generous contribution that's going to be announced today. I want to begin by saying that just a few minutes ago, I met Jordan over there, who's a freshman at UALR and an East alum, and we talked a little bit about the hub, and he said, that he can't wait to get in there when we open, because he always thought that there ought to be a community space for everyone who's involved in East and for everyone who wants to be involved in East. And I thought to myself, well, you ought to come up here and give my speech, because that's the exact idea that we had about a year ago. And really, it was about a year ago that the Innovation Hub started to take form. The mission in a nutshell is to promote more entrepreneurship and innovative business development in the state of Arkansas. And in order to do that, I think all of us know that you can't just pursue one strategy to the exclusion of all of the others. And what I'm really saying is we need to both look at education and we need to look at economic development, so that we're both preparing people for the jobs that are going to exist and that do exist in this century, but that we also have those jobs waiting for them after we've educated them. Otherwise, they're going to leave the state of Arkansas, and we will have invested a lot of time and money and energy in educating the workforce of Atlanta and Dallas and Chicago and all of those other cities around the country. So we have to focus on developing talent, we have to focus on retaining it, and then of course, if we do a good job at those two things, we'll be able to attract more talent to the state of Arkansas. And so when we started to develop our Innovation Center in downtown Argenta in North Little Rock, we looked at the strategies that exist around the country that have been successful in this area. And there are several best practices and models that we decided to incorporate in our Innovation Center. And when Joel Gordon comes up and talks to you, he'll talk about the launch pad. And we're also going to have a part of the building called the Silver Mine. That's a co-working entrepreneurial incubation space. And in the building, we already have the Art Connection that focuses on developing job skills through the graphic and digital arts. But what we didn't have right at the beginning was an idea of how we were going to address those STEM skills that are so critical, again, for educating not only our young people, but our adults, making sure that they have access to advancing their skills so they can be prepared for those jobs. And so it was the first week, I think, after I'd taken over as executive director, that I met with Matt and Angela, and we talked about the potential of a partnership with East. And as it happened, they had the same idea as you, Jordan. They thought that we should have a place where East could extend all of the good work it does to the community and to the population at large here in Arkansas. And so that's what the STEAM Lab is going to be. And it's the STEAM Lab that will bring those award-winning, nationally recognized programming in things like computer coding, programming, CAD design, 3D animation, all of those things that East does so well. It will bring that to the broader population here in Arkansas. And so we couldn't be more grateful to AT&T, because AT&T is going to make that vision possible. This underwriting will make sure that the STEAM Lab is able to achieve all of those things that we know that East is capable of achieving, and we know that the Innovation Hub will be able to provide a platform to advance, enhance, and really magnify the impact of East. And so that's what we're most honored and proud to be able to do. We look forward to working with you, and thanks again. Thank you.
Of course, none of it's possible without people to believe, and sometimes you spell believe, M-O-N-E-Y, right? And so working together, Joel, Warwick, Angela, myself, a host of other people, working with AT&T to craft and put together a plan. We were thrilled beyond measure to discover that their vision and our vision were so well aligned. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Ronnie Dedman, who does a lot more than anybody thinks he does, but he's everywhere, all the time. And he is very much a supporter and a believer in the potential and possibility of our children and our communities. Mr. Dedman.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and it's certainly a pleasure to be here. Ever since I walked in the door, for some reason, folks have been extremely nice to me. I guess they think that I've got a check. We were prepared today to make a dual announcement, but yesterday the folks at Apple sort of preempted us. We were going to announce the launch of iPhone number 6, right? No, not hardly. And I don't have any new iPhones with me, but if you'll check with Anita, you normally get all the new toys. You got any yet? You can show them along. Again, I'm very proud to be here today, but I'm prouder that we were able to recognize the potential from the relationship of these two groups today, the Innovation Hub and EAST. At AT&T, we've realized for a very long time that education and innovation are truly the keys to success. And as I think about education, I think about AT&T's long history and long commitment to education in this great state of ours. I think about our support for K through 12 school districts. I think about our support and partnerships with the 2- and 4-year colleges around town, and I think about our support of the many scholarship programs that we've invested in around this great state of ours. But I do want to highlight for just a minute our signature education initiative, and it's called Aspire. We launched Aspire in phases. We've launched phase 1 and 2 very recently, and devoted maximum resources to the efforts that have helped kids graduate high school, encouraged young people to explore STEM fields, and trained our current workforce for new careers in technology. We, like the organizations that we're talking about today, are helping people access new tools and learning environments to get college and career ready and prepare for the jobs of tomorrow. At AT&T, I'll tell you that many of our new hires began their careers in the STEM field. But they also need 21st century skills like leadership, teamwork, and collaboration. And that's exactly what you can find here at the EAST initiative, I think. And I'll pause here for just a minute and say a couple of words about the gentleman that leads this program, Matt Dozer. I've known of Matt for a long time and have got to work with him most recently in the last couple of years, and I can tell you that everything that I heard about Matt has been confirmed. No, don't do that, because it's good things that I've heard about you. I heard about your dedication, your professionalism, your caring, and your leadership ability here with your program. They also told me that, I probably shouldn't say this because you'll get the big head, that he's pretty bright too. But I found that all to be very true.
Thanks.
So let me thank you for what you do here with the EAST program. And much like the AT&T Foundry Innovation Centers, the Arkansas Innovation Hub exists to promote entrepreneurship and innovation. The Hub will provide a collaborative environment where access to advanced technology, the kind that you'll find in the STEAM Lab, will allow Arkansans to learn necessary skills and bring their innovation to life. And since I paused and talked about you, I think I should pause and say a couple words about you, if that's okay.
You're the boss.
Well, I am kind of his boss, y'all. I'm on his board, but he never listens. He tells me what to do. Yeah, have known about work and of work for many years as well, and got to know him in his role as a public servant. And I think that we all, when we get a chance, should thank him, not for just his efforts for leading the Innovation Hub, which is a full-time job and requires a lot of effort, but I think we all should thank him as well for his dedication and devotion to public service. And if you don't think that's a full-time job, then show up in January and you read 3,000 bills and study 3,000 bills and know what's in 3,000 bills so that you can cast an intelligent vote for whatever that issue is. So, Warwick, thank you for what you do with the Innovation Hub, and also thank you for your public service. AT&T is proud, very proud, that we were able to help purchase and procure the equipment for STEAM Lab. We believe that when we make an investment in education, we are also making an investment in our community. We're making our community stronger, safer, and more economically viable. So again, on behalf of AT&T and all my AT&T peers and folks that are with me, we're glad that we can be a part of this. So at this time, I think what I'd like to do is, Mark, ask you to come forward, and Matt, for you to come forward. And I think I'd ask the students to come up here too. We're going to take a picture, and I'm going to make a presentation.
I talked to Mr. Dedman back there. He said you can't have an iPhone 6 today, but if you get an iTunes account, he will give you or he'll make sure you get the new U2 album, okay?
What?
So this is our contribution to the effort. It's $35,000.
Excuse me.
I'll take 2 or 3 pictures here. On 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take one too. Cheese.